Hi, we are set ready to actually do our laser cutting. So I am in Illustrator on the computer that's attached to the laser cutter. I have downloaded my Illustrator files that I prepped on another machine. We're going to be good to go. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do File Open and navigate to where I have them downloaded. Probably going to be in your Downloads folder, which is over here on the left. And I have the 3 cuts that Ms. Laughlin has put together for her lobster. So I'm going to open all 3 of them. You'll see they'll all open in their own tabs up here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take a quick look at the objects that we have here. Make sure that everything looks as it's supposed to, that we have our cut. Our stroke width of 0.01. This one's even 0.0001. That's good. As long as it's as small as possible. The laser cutter knows to take anything that is a super thin line width and do a cut with that. Okay. So when you're ready to actually laser cut, it treats it like a print file. So we go to File, Print, and all this stuff in the middle of the screen should be pretty much left as is. Okay. What you do need to do is you need to change the settings of the laser itself. You go to the Setup button in the bottom left. This brings up all the printers on the computer. We're going to leave our laser cutter selected and go to Preferences for the printer. And this is going to be all the laser settings. This is printed large scale on the wall, so you can always double check this to make sure. What we need to do is just double check a couple of settings. Our resolution should be 500. Our job type for this one should be just vector. So this will do all the cut through stuff. You see when I select vector, it disables the raster settings. If you do want to do an engraving where you're kind of burning into it, you have that raster enabled, but we're just cutting through it, so we're leaving it as vector. Skipping over raster settings, going into our vector settings. This depends on the material that you're using. There's a whole bunch of posts up on the wall in the laser room that talk about different materials and different speed, power, and frequency settings. The ones that we're using for this project are chipboard and laser wood. Okay, so if you're doing chipboard, the settings are going to be 70, 30, and 100. So that'd be 70 speed, 30 power, and 200 for frequency. One thing that's weird about this printer software is that if you delete the numbers, it's going to yell at you, say, please enter an integer. So go ahead and just double click it whenever you need to and make it type right over it. Okay. If you're doing wood, that's going to be 50 speed, 100% power, and 1,000 for the frequency. Frequency is basically how often it's zapping your piece of material. The higher it is, the better a cut, but also the hotter the material gets. So we got to balance that sweet spot, especially for anything flammable. Continuing on in a clockwise fashion, our piece size is going to be 24 by 12. That's good. And our other options don't need to center engrave. And we can send it right to the laser, skipping the manager, because we're doing all these settings set up here. So hit OK, and then hit Print. And then back in Illustrator, you should be able to hit Print. One thing that might happen sometimes is this preview over on the left will look weird, and it'll say the media size is not right. It's saying that it's 12 by 24. It's really going to print as 24 by 12. But if it's saying anything else, like 8.5 by 11 or a different size, you don't see the 12 and the 24 in there. The way to fix it is you hit Setup and then Print one more time, and it should automatically update. Anything else that's not working out the way it's supposed to, go ahead and give it a holler, and we will help you out. But that should be it. Go ahead and hit Print, and then it'll send it over to the laser itself. So now we're ready to get our material set up in the laser cutter. I'm not going to do a full cut right now. I'm just going to demo what it's going to look like, but you're going to use a full sheet of material when you're ready to go. Start with chipboard if you have the time to do it, to make sure that your cuts come out good, and then we'll use the actual Luon, the laser wood, later on. To get your material set up, you have it in the top left corner of the machine. It just slides right in there. Okay. The flatter the piece of material, the better. This one's a little bit warped, which could make some of the cut throughs weird, so you want to try and find as flat a piece of material as possible. Next thing you need to do is focus the laser. And the focus button is this button right here, number 5. It's got the flat surface and the up down, so you click that, and this arm comes out. Okay. You're going to take the slider right here, drop it down. It's just kind of magnetic. You don't need to click it out or anything. You just drop it down, you rest it up there. And you need to move the bed of the laser up and down so that the edge of the focus tool meets the edge of the surface of your material. Okay, you do that by hitting the up and down arrows here. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit until it just barely touches. I can swing it and just barely get stopped when it's hitting that material. That's good right there. Okay, put the measurer back up and hit the back button. And it's good to go. We are focused. Okay. Probably can't see the screen right here, but you can double check to make sure that the job number or the job name matches the name of what you sent over. And after that, it's just a question of closing the lid, turning on the fans that are on the power strip, and then hitting the play button.